It's a tough question because I have to say extinction takes time. And for the amount of animals that had been killed before we set up our foundation and the work that we've done, we are trying to stabilize these populations. And again, we have been able to stabilize the population in Namibia. The global population for cheetahs is only about 7,000 individuals.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, that's tiny.
It's very tiny.
I did not realize that.
And so then when you end up with very small pockets, you end up with more inbreeding, and that leads to other problems. And the cheetah is also a species that lacks genetic diversity. And that goes back to many of our studies that started back in the early 80s when we discovered the lack of genetic diversity. Our partnerships have been with the Smithsonian, with the National Cancer Institute, and our research then really created a lot of what conservation biology is really about today. Because it wasn't just looking at the numbers of animals, it was understanding the overall health of them. And we started understanding that, and then as I moved to Namibia over 30 years ago, we started collecting this information that allowed us to piece together a lot of information in working with the governments, but also sharing that information back with our partners in zoos here in the United States or in Europe, where there are only about 2,000 cheetahs living in captivity, and they still don't breed all that well in captivity. But we've been able to help our captive zoo partners in understanding more about how to keep the cheetahs living healthy. With that, it's really important to keep them free and living in the wild. And not only are we dealing with the human-wildlife conflict aspects, in like the Southern African area, that is a problem for the cheetah throughout its range. And another area that we work very closely in is in the Horn of Africa. And that is an area in Ethiopia and Somaliland. The Somaliland is a breakaway of Somalia. And Somaliland is an area that has the illegal wildlife pet trade was going through Somaliland, very short distance over to Yemen and up into the Middle East, which is where many of the people there wanted to have cheetahs as pets, as a status symbol. And so over the last decade, we've been very involved in trying to stop the illegal wildlife pet trade.